His Holiness Bhakti Vasudeva Swami.
Here's what is this? This first. This is the one? This is the 63 to 66. Okay. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Brajajana Yasodhanandana Brajajana Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamana Tera Vanachari Jamana Tera Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As taught as the tithes is demand of the divine grace, is compounded charge. Here. Abhacharana being the Bhakti Vedanta Swami Papa Maharaja. Jai. Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Paribraja Kacharya. As taught as the tithes is demand of the divine grace, of the Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasa Thakur Gosam Papa Maharaja. Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava being the Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Jai. Prem Sikahau Sri Krishna Caitanya. Prabhu Nityananda, Si Advaita, Gadadhar, Siva Sada, Gaura Bhakti Jai. Sisi Radha-Krishna, Gopal Gopinath, Shyamakunda Radha-Kunda Girigavadham, Ke Jai. Savindavan Dham, Ke Jai. Samasvara Dham, Ke Jai. Mayapanavadip Dham, Ke Jai. Jaganpur Dham, Ke Jai. Gangamai, Yamunamai, Ke Jai. Samata Tulsi Devi Bhakta Devi, Ke Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vina, Ke Jai. Nitai good Premanandi. All glory to the sum of devotees, all glory to the sum of devotees, all glory to the sum of devotees, all glory to all glories to the Gora Goranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today, Saturday, so we're reading from Caitanya Caritamrita. Point of departure, point of discussion is on Lila chapter 8, beginning from text 63. Title of this chapter is The Author Receives the Orders of Krishna and Guru. And who is the author of the Caitanya Caritamrita that's been referred to? Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. So, like I mentioned last week, the Caitanya Caritamrita is a postgraduate study in Krishna consciousness, because here we have a practical integration of the scriptures and the commentaries of the acharyas put in place, and people are living their lives in full and implementing the tenets of Krishna consciousness, the thesis that have been propounded by Lord Krishna himself, and commentaries by the acharyas. This is where we have an outflow of the living lifestyle and the implications thereof. In other words, when we practice Krishna consciousness, this is what transpires. So, Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So, text 63 of the 8th chapter, Adi Lila Caitanya Caritamrita. Nirantara Sunatino Caitanya Mangala. Tanhara Prasade Sune Na Vaishnava Sakha. Nirantara Sunatino Caitanya Mangala. Tanhara Prasade Sune Na Vaishnava Sakha. Nirantara Sunatino Caitanya Mangala. Tanhara Prasade Sune Na Vaishnava Sakala. Can someone try?
Nirantara Sunatino Caitanya Mangala.
Our ladies?
Nirantara Sunatino Caitanya Mangala.
Nirantara Sunatino Caitanya Mangala.
Tanhara Prasade Sunen Vaishnava Sakala.
Tanhara Prasade Sunen Vaishnava Sakala.
Nirantara Sunatino Caitanya Mangala.
Nirantara Sunatino Caitanya Mangala.
Nirantara Sunatino Caitanya Mangala.
Nirantara Sunatino Caitanya Mangala.
Tanhara Prasade Sunene Vaishnava Sakala.
Tanhara Prasade Sunene Vaishnava Sakala.
Thank you very much. So word for word translation by His Divine Grace. Word for word translation by His Divine Grace. ISKCON Pramacharya, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. Translation. Nirantara. Always. Sune. Hears. Tenu. He. Caitanya Mangala. The book Caitanya Mangala. Tanhara, by his prasadi, mercy, sunena, here, Vaishnava Sakala, all other Vaishnavas. So there's no purport. I'll just go through the translation of 64. Excuse me. Translation and purport, translation by Divine Grace. He always had the reading of Chaitanya Mangala. And all the other Vaishnavas used to hear it by his grace. 64. Kataya Sabda Uzzala Kare Yenapurna Chandra Nija Gunamrite Padaya Vaishnava Ananda. Translation. Like the full moon, he illuminated the entire assembly of Vaishnavas by speaking Sri Chaitanya Mangala. And by the nectar of his qualities, he increased their transcendental bliss. 65. Tenro ati kripa kari agya kelamo gurangira sacha lila vanibhara tare. By his causeless mercy, he ordered me to write about the last pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mangala. 66. Kashishwara Gosanira Shishya Govinda Gosani Govindera Priyaseva Caitanya Samanani. Govinda Goshani, the priest engaged in the service of Lord Govinda and Vrindavan, was a disciple of Kashishwara Goswami. There was no servant more dear to the Govinda deity. Please, kindly respond to repeat. Govinda Goswami, the priest engaged in the service of Lord Govinda in Vrindavan, was a disciple of Kashishwara Goswami. There was no servant more dear to the Govinda deity. Purport. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, quote, Kashishwara Goswami was one of the contemporaries of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was with the Lord in Jagannath Puri, also known as Kashishwara Pandit. He was a disciple of Ishwara Puri and son of Vasudeva Bhattacharya, who belonged to the dynasty of Kanjilala Kanu. His name was Chaudhry. His nephew, his sister's son, who was named Rudra Pandit, was the original priest of Vallabhapura, which is situated about 1 mile from Sri Ramanpura railway station in the village of Katara. 1 mile. Installed there are the deities of, did I get it right? No, just a minute. Let me take that again. His son name was Chaudhry. His nephew, his sister's son, who was named Rudra Pandit, was the original priest of Vallabhapura, which is situated about 1 mile from Sri Rampura railway station in the village of Katara. Installed there are the deities of Radha Govinda and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kashishwara Goswami was a very strong man, and therefore when Lord Chaitanya visited the temple of Jagannath, he used to protect the Lord from the crowds. Another of his duties was to distribute prasadam to the devotees after Kirtan. Srila Bhakti Vasudeva Swami visited this temple at Vallabhapura. At that time, the person in charge was a Shaivite. See, Shiva Chandra Chaudhary who was a descendant of Kashishwara Goswami's brother, who was a descendant of Kashishwara Goswami's brother. In Vallabhapura, there was a permanent arrangement to cook 9 kilos of rice, vegetables, and other foodstuffs daily. And near the village, there is sufficient land which belonged to the deity, on which this rice was grown. Unfortunately, the descendants of Kashishwara Goswami's brother have sold a major portion of this land, and therefore the deity worship has now been hampered. It is said in the Gora Ganodesha Deepika 137 that the servant of Krishna in Vrindavan named Bringala descended as Kashishwara Goswami during the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In our household life, we also sometimes visited this temple of Vallabhapura and took prasadam there at noon. The deities of this temple, Sri Radha Govinda and the Gauranga Vigraha, are extremely beautiful. Near Vallabhapura is a beautiful temple of Jagannath. We sometimes used to take prasadam in this Jagannath temple also. These two temples are situated within a 1 mile radius of the Sri Rampura railway station near Calcutta. Swayam Rup Kadamaya Dadata Swam Padantika. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Bhusha Visman Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurava Nipacharana Nirvisist Swami Sadhari Vancha Kalpatari Vyachana Kripasam Vyaya Vyachana Patitanam Pavani Vaishnavi Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, in the last, the text 66, and the Prabhupada quotes Bhaktisiddhanta from his from Bhaktisiddhanta's Anubhashya, was his commentary. And we understand that Kashishwara Pandit is a very special personality, associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a disciple of Ishvara Puri. So we can imagine who is Lord Chaitanya's disciple, Guru. That's why they are associates, the God brothers, so to say. But you see that although they took the initiation from the same Guru, Lord Chaitanya is Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is a combination of Krishna and Radha. And Kashishwar Pandit, or Kashishwar Goswami, is a Jiva. And therefore the difference is still there. But the important thing is that Kashishwara Pandit is an eternal associate of the Lord. Because it is also mentioned, Prabhupada again makes a reference. You see, this is how scholarly writings are composed. He makes a reference. Sometimes I read some of the stories that they post on the internet, even in ISKCON, on ISKCON websites, and there's no reference. And it's difficult for me to repeat short stories because in scholarship, as exemplified by Prabhupada, you make a reference to be able to buttress your point, to consolidate your point, to convince your reader about what you're saying. And we find Prabhupada's purpose, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Caritamrita, he always makes references. So, this is an important aspect of Prabhupada's devotional scholarship. It doesn't just tell stories, it gives you graphic details of where you can find what he's saying. And many people, they don't like when you ask for reference about their stories. So we are Prabhupada Nugas. We are followers of the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada. We took along with Prabhupada. And therefore, Prabhupada set a very good example for us how to be able to propagate this Krishna consciousness in all nooks and crannies of the global village. Understanding that the Vedic literature is so very rich, and it could enrich anyone's intellectual domain, devotional culture, whatever. You will always find Vedic literature. Now, the important point for us here is how Kashishwara was so much intimately related with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And at some point, when they were, Ishwara Puri actually sent Kashishwara to Jagannath Puri. And so he was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But at some point in time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered him to go to Vrindavan. And he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, look, this is like separating someone from his heart. So what to do? In order to be able to fill the gap, because this is an open complaint from a Vaishnava, from Lord Chaitanya's associates. We read how in his past in Krishna Lila, he was Krishna's servant. Bringananga is one of Krishna's servants. Just like we have Dhanista, one of the servants in Mother Yasoda's home. Krishna had many servants. But they are all his devotees. And therefore, Bringananga was also a servant of Krishna during the Vraja Lila. But then, Lord Krishna always will come to display his pastimes in accompaniment of his taking his devotees along. And so, Kashishwara is not some ordinary person, is not some ordinary devotee who just met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is Lord Chaitanya's eternal associate. And so, Lord Chaitanya asked him to go to Vrindavan. Imagine when you go to meet somebody, and this happens also, you know. Sometimes devotees are very much fun. They like the culture of staying around Prabhupada. But then, you know, Prabhupada says, oh, go to this country and go and preach it, go and preach it. And that literally, like, you know, creates some type of forceful separation. But because we are not just coming or hanging out together, we are preachers. And so the essence is to be able to spread the mission of the Lord throughout the global village. And in this case, Lord Chaitanya had ordered Kashishwara to go to Vrindavan, and he made this complaint that, you know, it's going to be very difficult to be by himself, away from the Lord. So the Lord gave him his personal deities. And so, you can see, Lord Chaitanya is very much happy that Kashishwara was doing 2 amazing services in Jagannath Puri. So one could wonder if he was so happy of Kashishwara Goswami's services in Jagannath-puri was the need of sending him to Vrindavan. Yeah, but the Lord has his own plans. So what were the two services that Kasishwara, because we already in the purport, don't tell me you don't know. What were the two services that Kasishwara was performing in Jagannath-puri?
Serving prasadam.
Yes.
Serving prasadam after kirtan.
Okay, good. What is the next one? Anyone to support? Anyone to help, to add? This is very correct. Serving prasadam. So sometimes we think, why are you asking me to go and serve prasadam? I'm just an elevated devotee, so that's a business service. Anyone can do it. But even the associates of the Lord, they were engaged in serving prasadam. When you give someone food, you see, when you meet someone in a restaurant, I mean, let's say in a drinking parlor, devotees don't go to drinking parlors, but before you came to Krishna consciousness, you do go to drinking parlors. So, first it comes with, like the people who smoke, they pass cigarettes around with each other. The people who drink, they buy drinks for each other. But food is perhaps the last thing. To give someone food is actually to give that person life. And therefore, we have this system. In fact, when Prabhupada was on the planet, he had made this pronouncement about the need for the devotees of ISKCON to distribute foods, prasadam, and to people within a particular radius of their temple. So this food for life, we call it food for life. And this is going on in many places. In India, it's just a big thing. In Delhi, they have near Vrindavan, they have a big project distributing thousands and thousands of plates of prasadam to the needy as well as gentlemen. So this was not just the making of Prabhupada, because Prabhupada is following the orders of his spiritual master. And so these very type of services were valuable. And people, for the general distribution of prasadam, people sponsor. In India, it's just a big thing. And they have sponsors from the government, they have some sponsors from devotees and individuals. Because in most cases, people are aware that when they do some service to humanity, they get some benefit. But this is not just some ordinary food. Prasadam, when prasadam is distributed, prasadam is not different from Krishna. It's someone who takes prasadam, literally is indirectly surrendering to Krishna, because you're taking Krishna into yourself. Huh? And Krishna is, he doesn't stand straight, He doesn't stand straight. When you take prasadam, it's like you take a hook, like a bait, The fishermen, they throw a bait to the fish, and the fish thinks, oh, it's amazing stuff here. And then it gets hooked up. Similarly, when people take prasadam, they are literally surrendering to Krishna. Because for majority of people, they won't come to your temple to sit down and listen Krishna Katha or philosophy. People are not interested in philosophy. If you go to any university, you check the admission rate, philosophy department is always, in most cases, the lowest. Because people don't want to crack their brain. They want to go and do business administration. They're damn sure they can get money very quickly. They want to go and do information technology, computer science. Immediately, before they finish, even job is waiting for them. Philosophy, they'll go and crack your brain. So, people don't like philosophy. But prasadam, everybody needs food. In any country and everywhere, everybody needs food. In our temples, when people come, I remember the first time I came to the temple, I was so much impressed with the prasadam, And, they like targeted the people who are coming on Sunday. So when they come and eat, they have to come back again because they can never get this type of food stuff anywhere. And therefore, it's a strategy for preaching, a strategy for bringing people to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, distributing Krishna Prasad. We have Prasadam distribution. Yeah, and with this type of project, you can get the people, the government, they want to see what are these people doing to leverage the suffering of humanity. So the Prasadam distribution is a big thing that, devotees in all countries all over the world could utilize to be able to get some grants and funding from the government. And so this was being done by Caitanya Pandit, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very, very impressed. He said, yes, what is the other service he was doing? Not you, someone else. And if the men don't know, I can guarantee you the women, they will put you to shame, they know. Don't Google right now. Okay.
He was really strong,
Uh-huh.
but I don't remember what he...
Yeah, he was very stout, very strong, built huge. I won't use that word. But the hitmen in America, they're also huge like that. Hitman? What? Huh? Huh? Yeah, hitman. But he was using his strength for Krishna. Prabhupada always used this word, dovetailing our skills and talents in Krishna's service. So he was very huge, he was built really very strong. And he used his strength, his power, his dynamic stature to protect Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, you see, ordinary presidents or governors, they have so many people guiding them. Okay? Vehicles, so many vehicles in the front, in the back. What about the Lord? But the Lord doesn't really care about all of that. But, Caitanya Pandit was like the main person who was doing the service in Jagannath Puri. Because sometimes people will will try to rush to come to touch the Lord. India is very common. You see some sadhu, they come and touch your feet. You ask them what they mean of touching the feet. Touching the feet means I'm surrendering unto you. But sometimes they just do this without understanding the implications of that. So Prabhupada, some devotees are complaining to Prabhupada about this, and his response was, okay, if they touch your feet, think of the Guru, think of Krishna. In other words, those energies will be transmitted to Krishna, transmitted to the Guru Parampara. Because it's dangerous touching someone's feet. Everyone radiates some particular types of energies, and so if you touch a pure devotee's feet, you do get some benefit. You touch the Lord's feet, yes, you do get some benefit. And so sometimes the whole concept could be misapplied, and it becomes like a common thing that you just go and touch someone's feet without any commitment. So, Caitanya Pandit, this way is two functional major services. Protecting Lord Chaitanya from the crowd. And after the kirtan, he will help in distributing prasadam. And therefore, we should feel very energetic and enthused in doing this type of service, protecting the spiritual master when they come, protecting the deities, protecting the elderly devotees. In fact, this is one of the major things that the Vedic literature prescribes, protecting elders. Elders are women and children. Unfortunately, in the 21st century, there is high exploitation of this group of peoples, especially the women and children are being exploited. And the elders are being thrown I remember one temple I went to. I don't want to mention the name. I think I mentioned, I don't know whether I mentioned this here before. One temple I went some years ago. I saw one elderly brahmachari, Prabhupada disciple. He was very, very active doing some services, living in the temple. So the next time I went, I'm talking about protection of elders. Don't think, oh, because I've done an elder here, I don't care. You also become elder in the future, okay? We're changing bodies. Huh? So I went there the next year. So I asked about that brahmachari, that Prabhupada disciple. Guess what the devotees told me? He wasn't there. Guess what he told? Well, guess what? I permit you to speculate on this. Guess what he told me?
They've moved into old age homes.
Yeah, exactly. I was so pissed off. Someone who had Prabhupada in establishing his movement, spreading his mission, establishing all these structures. You send him to old people's home, where he would not have a chance to hear the Kirtan, where he would not have a chance to take prasada. So this is very unencouraging. And so if something happens to someone, proper disciple, it could also happen to us. Will this give anyone a motivation to give their life to Krishna? Will it? Tell me, will it? No. And therefore, protection of our elderly devotees, especially proper disciples, is very, very important. We should take care of it. I remember where I was in Chopati one time, and then one of these proper disciples, I had known him in this former temple in the US. I went to that city for a conference presentation, and I was at that time they had just a small house where they were using for worship. So I stayed and the guests from there. So I knew him very well. And then this devotee, he came to Chopati Temple. I don't know what transpired, whether he did not earlier negotiate or apply for accommodation provisions. And so I saw that he was just in anxiety. They won't give him a place to stay. So then I came out. I said, this is Prabhupada disciple. I don't want to hear these stories. Just provide a place for him to stay. These are people who helped Prabhupada to establish this movement. We were not there. We were just enjoying the facilities, the sweat of other people. And therefore, protection of the elders, the women, and the children have to be there. And so this is the cultural heritage of Lord Caitanya and his retinue on the planet. Ashishwar was very much expert in distributing prasad, protecting the Lord. And when we hear it directly from the scriptures, it should give us a motivation to beef up our strategies for protecting devotees in our movement, especially the elderly, the women, and the children. Now, the other important factor that is that draws my attention here is being given us a direction to write something about the Lord, or getting some instruction to write something about the Lord. This is just a wonderful instruction, a wonderful order. And again, Prabhupada also received this type of order from his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Vasudeva Swami, who told him, right, just the first time they met in Kolkata. How many of you have been to the temple where Prabhupada first met Bhakti Siddhanta? Anybody? Yes. Anyone else? Ladies? Anyone? Yes, very good. Yeah, see, we need to, these are places of pilgrimage. How many people have been to Prabhupada's birthplace in Calcutta? I've been to Prabhupada's birthplace in Calcutta. Raise up your hand. Good. We should try to visit these places. Yeah, sometimes we go to Mayapur, but this Prabhupada, for us, is even more important to us than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We don't, it's Prabhupada who gave us Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Prabhupada Janmastan is there in Calcutta. Now they are setting up the place. They are trying to expand, and last year or so ago I was there for the appearance day celebration, and the place was filled up. Calcutta programs are like that. So these are important places that devotees should visit and see how Prabhupada came from that very humble setting, from aristocratic family, but the area is just a humble setting. And now people in that very vicinity, they are rapidly becoming Krishna conscious because they see foreigners coming there. And this is the medicine of catching Indians in India. It's just send some white guys, and then they get fired up. So yeah, they see people coming there to worship Prabhupada, and the local people, now they really get fired up. So receiving orders, Kaviraj Goswami said he received orders to write the Caitanya Charitamrita. And the Caitanya Charitamrita is not the only book that is delineating the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Chaitanya Manga is another book written by
Lochan Das.
Huh?
Lochan Das.
What?
Lochan Das.
Lochan Das? Yes, who support that idea? Huh? Vrindavan Das? Vrindavan what? You're not sure? Are you sure? We should read every day. See, we are living in ashram, especially those who live in the ashram. We should read every day. And I remember when I just joined, my Guru Maharaja, Bhakti Vasudeva Swami, will tell us, read Prabhupada's books, read Prabhupada's books. And the major reason he gave was so that you don't get cheated by anybody. Yeah, so this very literature, Caitanya Charitamrita, is so rich in the pastimes of the Lord. There's the Adi, Madhya, and the last part of his Lilas. They're so enriching. Reading these books makes us, it purifies the intelligence, and it's not different from the puja you do on the altar. Reading the Vedic literature is worshipping Lord Krishna with our intelligence. Let's get this point clear. It's not like a burden. Oh, I don't have the time to read. No. Just like who will say, I don't have the time to chant. And some people say it like that they don't have time to chant. They're very busy. I like meeting people like that. So, yes, we should find time. We're busy, but we should find time. If we want to purify, if we want to expedite the purification process in our devotional life, we should also find time to read the books every day. If even in just one paragraph or one page, is worth it, because this helps to increase our knowledge domain, increase the consciousness, and helps to expedite the purification process. From when we joined, I was one of those voracious readers. We have so much caught up with services that you don't have even the time. But when I come back from Sankirtan, we come back from Sankirtan at 5 o'clock, then I have to go again to the altar. These days, I find that everywhere, most of the places I've been to, the pujaris, they're just pujaris. We are pujaris, the Sankirtan devotees. You finish your puja walk in the morning, you're going out for Sankirtan. And then you come back again in the evening, 5 o'clock, and you go back for your Pujari service. So where is the time to read? We have to craft time for it. So the Lord is always accompanied by his associate, just like every mundane ruler is traveling with a lot of retinue. When Krishna comes, he comes with his associates. And when he comes to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, these are some of his associates, Kashishwara Pandit. Any comments or questions? Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj. In the purport somewhere, I don't remember exactly how it was, but it was talking about some land that they had, and they were growing there for the deities, and then there was
Vallabhapura.
Yeah, and then some of it was sold, and I think Prabhupada says unfortunately. So it does sound a little unfortunate. My question: when one devotee came a few weeks ago, he gave a presentation. He's been serving at the manor and around Europe, giving strategies and direction for temples how to have a sustainable supply of ahimsa milk, how to organize the cow protection. So he said that for us to have a supply of ahimsa milk for the deities, we'd need a herd of about 75 cows. So my question is would that then be land that's owned by the deities, and would such a project be in pursuance of enhancing the deity worship?
That's a very nice and insightful question. Now, Prabhupada also wanted us to have farm communities. And therefore, like we have here, this a wonderful temple, right from the time Prabhupada was here. And so, the idea of sustainable development in Krishna consciousness is also based on non-violence, non-violence, because the cows that are owned by these non-devotees, they kill the cows also. The farm communities, the Goshalas that are found in some of the places that I've been to, especially in India, they have like many cows. Even in Gitanagari in Pennsylvania, they have, that Gitanagari has been transformed to like a transcendental factory. They produce everything. They produce the cheese, they produce yogurt, they produce every milk product. And that was the invention or the act of one South African devotee and his wife. He's an engineer, so when he came to Gitanagari, when he took over the management of Gitanagari, he established all of these. You know Dhruva? You don't know him? Okay. His name is Dhruva Maharaj, Das, from South Africa. And himself and his wife, they really transformed Gitanagari. And in fact, if you can take anybody in America to Gitanagari and they will bow. It's a farm community, far away from the city, but with many cows and now a factory that processes all of the milk into different milk products, ghee, whatever, and they supply these to different stores in different cities. They supply also to the ISKCON temples mainly in the East Coast. Though Washington DC, they get regular supply of milk. Baltimore, they get regular supply of milk from Gitanagari farm. And it's ahimsa, managed by the devotees themselves. And therefore, the idea of this cow protection farms is to, one, to help in stopping the violence of the cows, and second is to be able to have regular supply of milk for the worship of Lord Krishna, Radha-Krishna, the deities. And because in most cases, the milk we buy in the stores, we cannot be sure that it's ahimsa milk. We cannot be sure. And if even in India, I'm sorry to say this, but I've been in India and I also have the lived experience of what transpires in India. And I go to places, I go to different temples in India, and if they want to serve the milk, first I ask, is it from the devotees or from outside? If it's from outside, no, I would not take. I would prefer to take something like almond milk, because almond milk, they can't really contaminate it so much. But the milk, I remember one time I was in Delhi, and I had some, that time I was having a liver problem, so I was taking some treatment from an Ayurvedic doctor. And then after the treatment, I was supposed, he instructed that I should take ghee, cow ghee, for a specific number of months. And then when I was in Delhi with my assistant on Brahmachari, so then we went to Vrindavan. So the ghee that the temple president gave to me in Delhi got finished. So the boy said he wants to go into town to figure out if he could get some ghee. So then he went and then he brought some ghee. They say cow, traditional cow ghee, cow desi ghee. So he brought it. And then the company, the industry that produced it also, the name was there. So when I started taking this ghee, it was so sweet. Sweeter than the one we brought from Delhi. So then this boy, he probably called the temple president and said, hey, we got some other ghee here in Vrindavan, and it's far sweeter than the one you give to Maharaj. So the president said, give me send a label to me, send a label to me. So he took a photo and sent it to him. And the president of the Delhi temple, he has a connection with one Ayurvedic doctor, the guy who treated me. One guy at the time was 86 years old, but he was jogging, he would go for jogging every day. So he sent this, to verify the authenticity of this ghee, so he sent this label to that Ayurvedic doctor, and that Ayurvedic doctor knew all the industries in the UP area. So immediately he saw it, he said, oh no, this is not cow ghee, this is buffalo ghee. I know these people. That is even in India, and in Vrindavan. So the idea of having our own farm, cows to produce milk, is also for our own protection. Because for you to get something authentic, in the West, it's okay. But developing countries, they may say this is organic. I'll give you an example. When I was in Delhi, so some devotees were helping me as helpers, some brahmacharis. So one day, they just came to me and said, Maharaj, we've seen an organic store. Can we go to buy some fruits? I said, what? Organic store in Delhi? He said, yes. All right, go buy the fruits. So then they went, they brought some fruits for offering. I finished my puja, so time for offering. They said they bought the fruits, and then later they came and complained that, oh, it's not organic. I said, how do you know? He said, the apple they bought, it was lacquer. So if we have our own farms, that is the only way we can protect the contamination that comes into our temples from all of these so-called milk sources and farm, different fruits sources. So I think it's something worth investing on. But the whole idea is not that you get those number of cows at one time. You know, it's a gradual development. Yeah. It's a good thing that we should try to do. Prabhupada wanted us to have our own milk, our own cows. Yeah. I think the time is, we're supposed to stop at 8:30, right? Correct? No?
Yes.
You delay to answer yes. Why is that? All right. Okay, last comment. Any last comment or question? Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj. So, in the beginning, you were mentioning that we should cite verses in order to back up what we're saying. And you were saying
Properly, a lot of references. Yeah.
References, and that reading is using our intelligence to worship Krishna.
Yeah.
So, how does it transform from the intelligence into the heart? How can we read?
Into the heart means what?
Well, to read with heart rather than just the intelligence. Also.
You read with heart? Explain what you mean.
Well, to let the knowledge seep into the heart, perhaps.
Into the heart. Heart is a physical organ. I'm sorry, but when you use terms, try to understand. There are, for instance, words have connotative and denotative definitions. When you say heart is a physical organ. Can you explain what you mean? Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Ridasi Arjuna Tishtati. Krishna is situated in the heart region. When you say heart is a physical organ. The jiva is also situated in the heart region. That's why the blood living the blood in the heart region is pure. The blood living in the heart region is pure.
So perhaps the spiritual body or the soul.
Spiritual body or the soul means what? How to read and retain what you read or implement, to use what you have read in applying in your own life to be able to deal with situations. I mean, just like, I'll give you an example. One devotee, they were having some project, and then he was using the project as an excuse not to go to class. So he asked Prabhupada, we have to do this, so shall we still go to class? Prabhupada said, yes, you go to class. Go and hear the Bhagavatam, go and hear the Bhagavad Gita. So they were in the discussion on Prabhupada, and then again we went back to that topic. He just perhaps didn't want to go to class. So Prabhupada said, yes, you go to class. Because when you go to class, you hear the Sastra. Krishna will give you the intelligence to be able to solve problems when you are confronted with the problem. So, to the best of my knowledge, the heart is a physical organ. You don't read with the heart. Maybe they're using heart as an idiom, but I'm sorry to see, as in scholarship we call it spade a spade. People invent different things, different terminologies, and they should be able to define whether they mean connotatively or they mean denotatively. Yeah. Heart is a physical organ. You don't read with the heart. Intelligence can be purified when we engage it in Krishna consciousness. Heart pumps the blood. Heart is the region where the blood is pumped out. See, the idea, if we're trying to be devotees, we should distinguish between what we say in the connotative term and denotatively. So as far as, except someone has some counter argument with that, heart is a physical organ. That's to my best, that's to my knowledge.
I have one little comment.
Okay.
Which maybe connects with that topic. That Bhakti Thakur in, I don't know how this works. Bhakti Thakur in Harinam Chintamani says that we have to chant, and not only chant but also hear any service we have to do. We have to be attentive on the level of the body, mind and heart. And attentiveness on the level of the heart means, in regards to hearing, that there is intense eagerness and greed, that there is no indifference. in the heart. So when we hear, just hearing to pass the time and all, and finally is prasadam, that kind of hearing bypasses the heart.
Okay.
It goes in one ear and out the other ear. But if there's some greed, what can I capture here? Can I get something that's relevant for my devotional life? Then the heart is involved.
Okay.
And then the words go to the heart and transform. Like that.
All right.
Hare
Thank you. You heard that? Yes. All right. Let's release you so that you can go for prasada. Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Bhakti Vasudeva Swami ki jai.
Announcements? Yes. Okay.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. For the pleasure of their lordship, Shri Shri Radhanandanishvara, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani, Shri Shri Gauranitai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj, and for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, yesterday Sankirtan devotees distributed a total of 198 small and medium books, 72 big and maha big books, for a total of 1,072 Lakshmi points. Today we will have devotees distributing books in South End with a monthly Sankirtan festival, and in Brick Lane from reception at 9:30. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande.